Ged Seguin is a 30-year banker with RBC and has spent 20 years in commercial banking. He has customers across Canada and the US and has a wide range of experience with many different sectors. So thank you very much, Ged.
Fortunately, the Bank of Canada is generous, and the headwinds are blowing for businesses, and my customers are doing well looking south. So I trust some of you have given that some consideration. The tax laws are favorable for Canadian banks actually to help. I'm getting sidetracked here, but it's rather unique. We're actually able to finance directly into the United States now. So if you're looking at a U.S. investment, your Canadian banker is probably able to help you there to finance those investments. So briefly, 10 minutes, I promise to be done. Brief commercial. RBC, as some of you may know, is Canada's biggest bank. This is sort of, we're big and diversified, but the biggest thing I want to point out to in the GTA is that account managers like me, we've gone a long way to try to specialize our strengths, specialize our focus into individual industries, mine being supply chain. But what my goal is, and ultimately what my job is to make my customers make money, help them make money. So finding unique ways of getting that capital. So with the advantage of having a big bank behind you, you have many tools to do that, like substantive tools to do that. It's actually incredible. This has had a rather long gestation period. The environmental vision, it's probably better part of 10 years. But the bank is obviously recognized as obviously most of you, that the environmental issues going forward is not going to change, is not going to diminish. It's only going to become more and more part of our world. So our vision is to be the leader amongst the Canadian FIs and our peers in the United States to help our customers and our shareholders benefit with this new realm that we've got facing us. To that end, the bank has prepared or outlined a website that gives customers valuable tools and advice tools and guidebooks to help you think about some of the things, some of the soft issues that you may not have been aware of. I mentioned about industry specialization. This isn't live, but if you actually wanted to talk to a specialist within your industry, you would just go to this, and there's a link at the end of my presentation. Type in the industries that you're focused on, your postal code, and within very short order, you'll be talking to a live body and not sort of an email. Again, to help you start the process. It may be some of you may deal with RBC already, and I would encourage you to check with your account managers to see if you can access, because there's a lot of information, a lot of insight that is free. No surprise, in 2008 it was a substantive investment, 25% going into retrofits. It's now approaching 35%. It's not going to go away. If you're a business owner with a big building, you know that you've got a roof repairs, you've got windows, you've got ventilation. That number is only increasing, and as there's limited real estate in certain markets, you got to keep polishing up that building to make it more and more efficient. Driveways, landscaping, you name it. So that we see that as a huge opportunity in our real estate. We partner with our real estate banking groups to help with those kinds of investments, and it works well. We have a number of different groups, solar financing products. We've seen a lot of solar fields being done. Certainly anybody driving around any neighborhood, industrial, you see rooftop solars. We also know that the OPA and the FIT program has had good success. It's cumbersome, as I think some of you are. Has anybody involved with a FIT? So a few of you. So you know that it can be very cumbersome and chew up a lot of emotional capital, because it's not a slam dunk. But we see a lot of that. We have a bunch of renewable energy specialists with respect to, again, I talked about industry specialization. We have people who talk that language. They know, they talk to the builders who are putting those retrofitted panels on the roof. We're talking to the engineer groups that make sure that there's adequate snow load calculations. In Germany, the building standards are somewhat better. So to Germany and Spain and Portugal, those countries are far ahead of us in North America, far ahead. And they've built their buildings a little bit better. Our buildings are just to tolerance, just getting by. So we have to do a lot more work around snow loads and wind shear. When you imagine when you put a whole bunch of solar panels on your roof and the wind's not going right, you can rip the whole roof off. So there's all kinds of things that we see. We want to walk that process through to make sure that everybody's, certainly the business owner and the building owner doesn't have any interruptions. We have carbon management solutions through our capital markets, our commodity hedging. You can buy fuel, you can buy gas, you can buy hydro. Again, if you're a big user of those, it makes sense. You have to have the minimum threshold, but again, these are new tools in the market that are becoming more and more used. And clean tech industry specialist, again, it just echoes what I had mentioned before. We have a lot of people downstream focused on certain industries, so that when you're talking to them, they have an idea what it is you're trying to explain in terms of why you're doing a project. Why? There's obviously a number of different reasons, but ultimately it comes down to your competitive advantage. The Canada ranks, I think, 15th in OECD countries. We have to do a better job in product innovation. We have to do a better job at market innovation. We're lagging behind. Again, some of these things are going to help us get there. I don't have to tell you, why it makes sense for the retrofits. There's many reasons why it's going to save you money. But here's the big thing. There's no mystery to financing this thing. The biggest part, I would say, is involving your bank right up front. Make sure that they know. That person knows what it is you're trying to do, because it's going to help save you immense time and effort and emotional capital, as I said, to get these things done. Work with the bank manager to determine your best financing options. I've done a number with my customers, and it's balance sheet lending. But we find ways, through a number of different tools, and I'll go through one in particular, which is leasing, to finance those leaseholds. Because if you go into a building and it's new installation, it's typically balance sheet. It's insulation. It's an intangible asset, right? For some of the accountants in the room, those are difficult to finance. Intangible assets. Generally lenders like tangible assets because it can be resold in the event of a liquidation. So with that, we typically look at a detailed cost benefit analysis. Again, you probably have already done that. You can employ your accountant. You can employ an industry specialist who's done these. But one of the things that we've seen time and time again, that companies that fail to plan are likely planning to fail. Ultimately, that comes down to it. Doesn't matter if you're a $30 million company or a $3 million company. You've got to plan ahead. There's no mystery about it. Again, I mentioned earlier, a typical financing package for us these days involves leasing. Our leasing group, we have a leasing arm. My leasing partner is right in my office. He and I go out, we talk to clients, and we finance those leaseholds. And the good thing about financing under a lease is that you can customize the payments. You can do delayed start. You can customize the payments to your seasonality if you have a seasonal. Let's say you want quarterly payments. Let's say you want to have a 60-month amortization, but you want the payments back-end loaded. We can do that. the big thing with leasing is that it's far more flexible than the typical, financing through your operating line, which is probably not the best way of using your working capital. And one more point on leasing is you can get 100%, including the installation costs, the soft costs. So it makes a lot of sense. So I'm going to get going here. Again, leasing, we see that as a huge benefit. We see huge growth with leasing. Now, if you're looking at doing something in the United States, the Bank Act prohibits us from doing leasing directly into the United States, so we have other ways of getting around that with some term debt and funding it on LIBOR. So I won't get into that. Again, leasing preserves your working capital, helps you budget, obviously improves your cash flow, and the biggest thing is allows you to grow your businesses to survive. If you have any questions, you can please call me directly, send me an email. That link on the Greening Your Business website, on the website, RBC Royal Bank, and go to Advice and Tools, and I would encourage you, it's free info, and you can use it, your employees can use it as a learning tool, and that's it.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.